Devastating floods in central Texas have claimed at least 110 lives, with 161 people still missing. Kerr County was the hardest hit, 87 lives lost, including 30 children. Governor Greg Abbott there touring the damage today and spoke with President Trump, who promised federal aid and mental health support. But questions are growing about delayed alerts and evacuations. Officials say they were not warned about the Guadalupe River's rapid rise until hours after Friday's flash flood alerts. The governor addressed concerns over who is to blame.
Texas, every square inch of our state, cares about football. You could be in Hunt, Texas, Huntsville, Texas, Houston, Texas, any size community, they care about football. High school, Friday night lights, college football, or pro. And know this, every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones that try to point out who's to blame. The championship teams are the ones that say, don't worry about it, man, we got this. We're going to make sure that we go score again, that we're going to win this game. The way winners talk is not to point fingers. They talk about solutions.
Governor Abbott also said helping the affected areas recover will be on the agenda when lawmakers convene for a special session in 2 weeks. Former Texans star J.J. Watt, speaking of football, is praising Coast Guard hero Scott Ruskin, who saved 165 people during the Texas floods. On July 4th, Ruskin led a massive rescue at a summer camp, coordinating 12 helicopters. Watt called him a hero in a post, you see it here, on X.
Tonight, owning a home in Los Angeles may feel more out of reach than ever. A new report shows buyers in L.A. now need to make over $318,000 a year to afford a typical home. That's more than 3 times the city's median household income of just under $94,000. The analysis by Consumer Affairs and the Urban Institute ranks Los Angeles among the top 5 most expensive housing markets in the nation.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at those weather headlines. I know one of them has to deal with the heat and probably some winds.
Yeah, you know, so we do have that hot weather coming the next couple of days. Heat wave would be a good way to describe it for Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of the winds, it's going to be like it's been for the last several days, where it picks up a little in the afternoon, not what I would call windy at all, but just a little breezy late day and then kind of calms down after that. So specifically, again, heat away from the coast. That'll be the case Wednesday, Thursday. Heat alerts are in effect. We're talking more about temperatures on headline number 3, as it will be cooling to around normal by the weekend ahead. Let's jump in, though, with the heat alerts. So these have not been issued yet this week, but now they're in effect starting tomorrow, lasting into Thursday. There's heat advisories across the Inland Empire and south. Notice the San Fernando Valley is excluded because the ceiling of the heat might not be quite as high as what we expect in the IE. So you see that range, maybe up to 104 for the IE. It might be more like 101, 102 on the high end for the San Fernando Valley. Not that it's not going to be hot there, just quite not meeting heat advisory criteria. Then we have an excessive heat warning, where it's more extreme heat warning there for the low desert, where it could be as hot as 110 to 118. How about the low temperatures overnight? Look at this. Palm Springs only cools down to 86 degrees. Big Bear cools down to about 50. Most other locations, though, low and mid 60s will be common for the lows, which is a little warmer than we've seen for several days. And then, of course, again, tomorrow we expect that heat to settle in. There's going to be that range in temperatures, though, like we often find around here. So for the coast, it's still 70s, but you go just a little inland, 80s will be common. Maybe we get close to 90 for L.A. Certainly, as you see in the red areas here, we expect lots of 90s there. And then as we bring it in a little bit closer, where you see some pockets of magenta, for example, the valleys, San Fernando Valley up towards Santa Clarita, there's probably going to be some 100s there. In the Inland Empire, there's going to be some 100s as well. Switching it to Thursday, it's pretty much the exact same type of heat in the exact same locations. So it's 70s for the coast, but you go inland, around 90 for LA, inland Orange County, upper 80s to some 90s perhaps. But the real high heat remains in the IE and in the valleys, and of course in the desert. Now, beyond Thursday, those alerts come to an end, and we see your temperatures start to drop a little. This is for LA. Friday, 84, 83 Saturday, 81 on Sunday. So we kind of settle back down to near normal temperatures for this weekend. Our 7-day forecast has a 70s for a while. Again, you see the heat for the next few days for LA, inland Orange County. Cooling after that. Valleys and IE, a couple 100s, and then around 90 degrees, maybe even upper 80s for the weekend. Back to you.